All right, welcome to Stopping Socialism TV segment. We're going to be talking about the Great Reset. We talk about the Great Reset a lot on this program, and people that watch it might think like, "Wow, we really have the cards stacked against us." These international elites, the World Economic Forum, the UN, they all have this plan to overhaul the economy, take over society by extension. Like, what could we possibly do to stop this, right? But I am here to talk you off the ledge because we have some proof. We got 3 pieces that shows that just the work that Justin and I have done is making an impact. So that's what we're going to talk about today on Stopping Socialism TV. Before we do, I have my obligatory call to action for all of you to help us get this message out there. I say this on every video, but Facebook, YouTube, Google, they are not doing us any favors. They would rather you not hear this message. So you can help us out just by simply liking this video, sharing it, subscribing to our channel, anything to help us to get this message out there, break through that algorithm.
Yeah, they hate our guts. They hate our guts. Yeah.
To put it bluntly. Yeah, they hate our guts. So yeah, like I teased, the Great Reset. If you're unaware of the Great Reset, that means that you're not a follower of us, because we talk about this quite often. You can go and check out a bunch of different videos we've done in the past covering this. But it seems like we have gotten their attention. We're on their radar, the World Economic Forum, and they're not happy about it. So we've got 3 little pieces of evidence. The first one we have to be a little bit candid about for various reasons. But I will say that, and I'll let you tread through this minefield, Justin, but all I'll say is that there was an article written that we know got the attention of the World Economic Forum. So I don't know what else I can say, so I'll let you kind of take it away here.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would love, God, I would love to tell this story, but we can't. So essentially, let's just say that I wrote an article. I've written many articles about the Great Reset. I wrote an article a while back about the Great Reset for a very big, very popular publication that is a more of a what I would consider a mainstream-ish publication. Got lots of attention. It's a sort of an introductory type article about the Great Reset. Got a lot of attention. Widely shared, widely quoted, tons of search traffic. And let's just say that I can't say how I know this, but I know that the World Economic Forum was very unhappy about it and expressed their displeasure about the article and wanted the article to be removed. And they were very unhappy about it. And that's probably all that I can say about it.
Yeah,
not because there was anything wrong, factually incorrect in the article. They did try to make that argument, and the things that they said were obviously not factually incorrect. The article was never removed or altered because it was factually correct. But they were mainly just unhappy with they don't think there's anything wrong with what they're doing, and they didn't like the spin on it, essentially.
Right. So lowly old Justin Haskins of Stopping Socialism got on the radar of the World Economic Forum. We know this for a fact. This isn't us interpreting things, reading tea leaves, or anything like that. We know for a fact that we are on their radar. So that's piece of evidence number 1. The fact that they would even get in the mud with a low life like Justin Haskins is piece of evidence number 1.
Yeah.
That's
good evidence.
Secondly, we like to kind of promote ourselves as being like the guys that are really at the forefront of this movement to kind of counteract the Great Reset. We were seemingly the first ones to really talk about it in like a real capacity. And we kept talking about it, released videos, articles, everything the like. We started getting more attention. Glenn Beck was one of these people that gave this the attention that it deserves. He talks about the Great Reset a lot. Much of that, I'd probably say the majority share of the reason why he talks about it is because of us. So this kind of anti-Great Reset campaign was really kicked off by us, and it's it's gotten traction. Like I said, Glenn Beck's talking about it. There was a point maybe a month or two ago where the Great Reset was trending on Twitter. And this was because
it's
of something
probably, I think it was a little longer than that, probably 3 or 4 months ago.
No, I've got no concept of time ever since having a baby. But anyways, so it started trending. More people started picking up on it. The Crowders of the world, the Breitbarts of the world started writing articles. Oftentimes,
Tucker Carlson, Laura Ingraham. Yep.
Right. Oftentimes quoting things that were previously written by Justin over here. So it started getting a lot of attention, a lot of pushback against the World Economic Forum and their concept of the Great Reset, to a point, and this was predicted by us, to a point where it seems like they are trying to distance themselves from the term the Great Reset. And there was a video that the World Economic Forum produced that is basically admitting this fact.
Yes.
So we have this queued up here. Go ahead and play this for us.
We're gonna try. We've had some technical difficulties, and unfortunately, I'm the one who has to manage this.
No one cares how the sausage is made.
Yeah, they care. They're gonna care. All right, here it goes. Here we go.
Whoa, they've got us here.
With everything falling apart, we can reshape the world in ways we couldn't before. Ways that better address so many of the challenges we face. And that's why so many are calling for a great reset. A great reset? That sounds more like buzzword bingo masking some nefarious plan for world domination. Hands up, this kind of slogan hasn't gone down well. But all we really want to say is that we all have an opportunity to build a better world.
Yeah, so if that's not kind of telling.
Well, hold on. First of all, what's buzzword bingo?
I don't know.
What is that? We've watched that video like 1,000 times. I still can't figure out what buzzword bingo is. Like, I don't know what that is. It's
like a word salad. Is that like the British version of saying a word salad or something?
I don't know. But
yeah. But yeah, first off, this is buzzword bingo that's trying to mask some nefarious plot to take over the world. Yes. Yeah, we're not denying that. Yes.
my favorite. Yeah, go ahead.
But two, they say, like, admittedly, I don't think they say that word, but like, this didn't go down very well. Like this term didn't go down very well, or something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, you're right, because everybody is using this term against you now, and they realize that, and they're trying to run away from it.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite part of that video is fantastic, by the way. If I urge everyone watching this to watch we should link to it in the notes for the show, because if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's pretty astounding. But in particular, pay close attention when they show the montage of all the people who are the Great Reset people. Make sure you pause the video there and take a look at who the different characters are. It's pretty amazing.
We should probably just do a standalone breakdown video of that.
We probably should. Maybe when we have the tech down a little bit better. But yeah, my favorite part of that whole scene is when they choose, whoever made that video chose to illustrate it with a puppet, with puppet strings in a hand over the world.
Yeah.
Like, that was the imagery they chose. Yeah. Like, that is just so, even in their video apologizing essentially for coming up with this stupid slogan that is obviously nefarious sounding, they picked imagery that looks nefarious looking too. And it's like, yes, you're right. That is what we all think. That is what we all imagine. And when you listen to the quotes, because the other thing is like, they have a tendency to talk about this like, oh, well, you know, or treat it like it's all just a misunderstanding that we have, you know, right. Like it's just a misunderstanding because of the language that they use, the Great Reset slogan, as if that's the only crazy thing that they've said. But when you actually read their quotes, like their long explanatory quotes where they're talking about all of this, it's creepy too. It's not like it's just the Great Reset, those two, 3 words. It's everything that they say about it is creepy. Every quote that we have about it, when you read it in its full context, is very bizarre sounding and very nefarious sounding. So it's not just 1 or 2 crazy things. It's everything. That's what caught our attention initially about this. It's just how nefarious sounding it all is. Everything that they've said about it.
Yeah, and just kind of like a little behind the scenes, when Justin and I first had this conversation about the Great Reset, when we realized, like, okay, yeah, let's pursue this, let's try to get to the bottom of this, and be against it, right? One of the first things that we decided on was, like, we've got to use this term, the Great Reset, which sounds nefarious. They came up with that. That was their term. We didn't. But we wanted to use that against them. So literally the first thing that we did underneath the Stopping Socialism banner about this little subsect project here going against the Great Reset was to create an image that shows how nefarious this thing is. A little bit of a glare there, but it's like, that's their term that they made. That's the term, the Great Reset. So yeah, we're going to drive it to them, and yes, they are starting to run away from it, which brings us to piece of evidence number 3. So again, we've been following this for a while. The World Economic Forum, they thought this was a great term. They thought this was marketing genius to have all of their people go around and saying the Great Reset, Great Reset. They were going to have their Davos meeting, their Davos, what is it called?
It's just their World Economic Forum annual meeting.
Annual meeting.
It's in Davos. People refer to it as Davos often.
Okay.
Yeah.
So of 2021, it was going to take place in January, and the theme of it was going to be the Great Reset. Now, of course, COVID and all of that stuff complicated things, so it got delayed. They released a press release recently saying that it was going to be delayed until August. And in the press release, we noticed, or at least Justin specifically noticed, that there was an interesting omission to their press release. It did not once reference the idea of the Great Reset.
It's gone. Like it never happened. And the thing that's amazing about it is that everything that maybe I've missed something, but everything I've seen about the annual meeting they're going to have this year at some point, which they've moved to, they at one point moved it to another town in Switzerland, then they moved it to Singapore, but wherever they end up having it, and whenever they end up having it, assuming they do, it never says the Great Reset anymore. Like, it's not just one press release. It's as though they've changed the theme. They never announced they've changed the theme, but they just stopped naming it the Great Reset. They've just totally run away from that, completely run away from it. And that's a huge deal, because if you've been following this closely, like we have for many, many months, and we've been as immersed in this as anybody could possibly be. We're writing a book with Glenn Beck about this. Like, we've been so focused on researching on this one topic. They have been talking about this annual meeting since they launched this whole thing. In fact, I'm pretty sure that at the meeting that they launched it, they talked about the annual meeting they were going to have in 2021 about this theme. So that was the initial launch was just the first step. Then it was supposed to be 6 months of them getting ready for the big annual meeting when they were going to have everyone get together and do a whole big strategy session and roll this whole thing out and make this a huge thing. And now they've pushed it back. They've renamed it or taken the name away at the very least, and now it's not the Great Reset anymore. And so why after spending all of this, and it's not just one organization, they've coordinated with the head of the United Nations, with the prime ministers of various countries like Justin Trudeau, John Kerry's, the climate czar was using this language, Al Gore was promoting the Great Reset, the head of the International Monetary Fund promoting the Great Reset, the head of the, people at all of these major corporations, international institutions, all using that language. Great Reset, Great Reset, Great Reset. Then all of a sudden, it's gone. Yeah. And they're not talking about it anymore. That's not a coincidence. That's a coordinated retreat, because it's a disaster. And that's absolutely what happened. There's no doubt about it.
So two things. So number one is it's too late. It's too late. The stink of this thing, the Great Reset, is going to be attached to whatever they move forward with in perpetuity. And they're not going to, they're going to run away from the term, the Great Reset, but they're not going to run away from the agenda. They're still going to push forward with this plan. They're just going to call it something else. So we've read some stuff. I mean, they'll probably talk about it like stakeholder capitalism. They'll use that term. They think that term's pretty clean. We've seen them use, or at
Davos agenda.
Davos
is another one.
Davos
another
manifesto.
Terrible name.
Davos Manifesto.
Davos Manifesto actually was before Great Reset, and that was like leading up to it. That's what they were going to call it, and then they I've seen Davos Agenda since they started moving away from Great Reset. So I mean, Davos Manifesto and Davos Agenda are not good names either, and they also sound very nefarious and horrible. But
inclusive capitalism is another one. But the thing is, whatever they call it, like the cat's out of the bag. We know what it is. We know that it's the Great Reset, and whatever they try to package it, they rebrand this thing that they're trying to sell. We're going to be there. The Glenn Becks of the world are going to be there to call it for what it is. This plan is the Great Reset, the thing that they're trying to run away from. But number two, and this is kind of a question to you, Justin. Obviously we're just two guys recording from our households doing this video, right? We've got a shoestring budget. We need people's help to get this message out there. But they're the World Economic Forum, right? They're a big, powerful institution with a lot of very rich people at their disposal, very influential. So why the flinching? Why are they so worried about all of this stuff? Explain that to me.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. I mean, when you think about who the Great Reset people are, and you think about who the World Economic Forum is and who's been a part of that, I mean, these are people who literally have the most powerful people in the world are working with them, are on their board of directors, billionaires, the heads of the biggest hedge funds in the world, the heads of, people who are as connected and powerful as you could possibly be. And Joe Biden himself has been a keynote speaker for the World Economic Forum many times over. Many Republicans, it's not just Democrats, it's all the most powerful people in the world. So why are they so worried about this? My theory is that, to get into some psychology here, my theory is that they know they're trying to get away with something. And because they know they're trying to get away with something, like many people who are trying to get away with something, you're extra sensitive to any criticism because you're trying to pull a fast one. And the last thing you want to do is have like the spotlight shine down on you while you're trying to get away with something, right?
Right.
And I think that's what's going on. I think they're especially sensitive to it because they know they're trying to fool people into buying into this thing when really it's not really about you and me, It's not really about the so-called stakeholders. It's really about the people who are running the show. And because of that, anyone that keeps pointing it out, that keeps shining the spotlight on them, that keeps saying, hey, I know what you're up to, they know that if enough people do that, they will be exposed and this whole thing will come crumbling down because it depends on people not realizing what's going on. It depends on everyone buying into the stakeholder lie that we're all going to somehow have involvement in this when they're making decisions in Davos, the most exclusive place imaginable. I don't know about you, but I have not been invited to Davos. No one has asked my opinion, nor anyone else's opinion that I know about how the world should be divided up and conquered and ruled by these people. No one has asked our opinions.
Oh, wait.
So it's not really about us.
I got invited to Davos right here. Invite. Oh no, this is to Denny's. Never mind.
Yeah.
But
close,
yeah,
but
but no, I mean, I think your point is well taken. And I wouldn't it just be poetic if the thing that was like the Achilles heel of this entire global plan was a marketing stunt that they came up with? That was the stake that was driven through this vampire's hearts, at the end of the day. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have talked about this. It's like so much of what we have learned about the Great Reset, ESG standards, that's maybe the biggest part of really what this whole system is going to look like or what it is shaping up to be. These are things that have been put into place over many years. This isn't like they woke up one day in 2020 and decided, let's do this whole Great Reset thing. That's how they came up with the slogan. And they kind of stole from other people who had used it for other things in the past. The framework for this has been put into place over many, many years. And we didn't know. We had no idea. And the reason we had no idea is because it's hard to figure it out. It's really complicated. It is a very intricate, brilliant in many ways system that they put into place over many years. And we had no idea. The only reason we found out about it was because they started talking about this great reset. And we're like, that's weird sounding. And then we started reading their quotes where they're talking about pushing the reset button on all aspects of society. Everyone has to participate. Every country has to participate. Every industry has to be involved. The social contract for society has to change. They started using these words, and I'm thinking, that I don't want to be a part of this. The social contract has to change. Every country has to participate.
Right.
I mean, once they started saying those things, that's when we started digging into it. So to circle back to your main point, I mean, without the slogan and without them being so upfront about it, we would never have we probably would never have figured it out until it was way too late. And by then we wouldn't have been able to, I don't know if we would have ever been able to connect all the dots as being part of the same plan, because it just would never have occurred to us. And the slogan is the big mistake. It is their Achilles heel, and they can run away from it all they want. Now we know what to look for. It's too late.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in learning more about this as time goes on, it's so important that you don't look for the Great Reset, the words. You look for what the Great Reset means. You look for the federal jobs guarantees, the big gigantic social welfare programs, the job programs that are related to the Green New Deal type stuff, mixed with ESG
digital
scores,
currencies.
Digital currencies, modern monetary theory, the corporations going woke and imposing their will on society. You look for all of these things, you tie those things together, and they can put whatever label they want on it. I now know what it is they're trying to do,
right.
and we're going to keep exposing it over and over and over again. And there's no way they can run away from it.
And the easy way to kind of stay on top of that is by going to stoppingsocialism.com, where we cover this. We know it. We know this stuff. We know what to look for. We know what they're trying to run away from, and we're going to label it what it is, which is the Great Reset. So stoppingsocialism.com, you can find all of our content across whatever social media you use, whether it's Facebook, Parler, YouTube, obviously, with Stopping Socialism TV here. Justin, is there any last words on this before we come into an end for this segment?
No, I mean, I think if you're going to do anything at all, pay close attention to ESG scores. Look into ESG scores, look at what's going on with banks, tie all of this stuff together, and realize that just because they're running away from the slogan, just because they're not using it anymore, doesn't mean it's gone away. The policies, the plans, these things have been laid for many, many years. There's trillions and trillions of dollars at stake here. They're not going to just stop doing this. Yeah. And so don't give up just because you're not seeing the Great Reset anymore. And maybe it's not on Fox News every day. That doesn't mean it's not happening. It is happening, and you got to pay attention and do your own homework in order to figure out where how all the pieces fit together and where these things are being put into place and when.
Yeah, and the fact that the World Economic Forum is flinching means they're vulnerable. So we need your help to kind of keep the pressure on and to keep exposing this plan for what it is in the Great Reset. But that will do it for this segment of Stopping Socialism TV. Join us next time. Thank you.